Wel- Welcome back to Doug Pagitt. Welcome back to Doug Pagitt Radio on AM 950, live in the Twin Cities and around the world on the internet. It is 11:50, 10 minutes before noon, and that little song intro brings us to our final segment of the show, where we try to talk about some things that are right on. We have a lot of fun on the show, try to raise some issues of religion in our culture, try to talk about natural health, parenting, all sorts of things, and poke a little fun at the parts of the world that aren't the way they're supposed to be. And then every once in a while you run into those things that are just right. They're just the way they're supposed to be. And I call that segment of the show Right On. There's this famous part of the Bible called the Psalms. You might be familiar with them. It's called the book of Psalm. Psalm 1, Psalm 2, Psalm 3, so on and so forth. So there's a psalm and a whole collection of these particular psalms. So it would say in Psalm 1, and a lot of people add the plural to the wrong place. That's not really the point of my comment here. But in the very first psalm, the very opening of them all begins with this line. Blessed, which is a whole complicated word, and I won't get into it right now, or on the side of God, God on the side of, you might want to say. Blessed is the one who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, or stand in the way of the sinners, or sit in the seat of the mockers. The Psalms are often full of these great sayings. They're not quite proverbs. They're a little more rich than that, a little more narrative than that, a little more particular to a situation than that, but they have that very proverb-like fashion to them. And there's this encouragement that people not be the ones who walk in the counsel of those who do evil, or stand alongside those who are trying to bring destruction, or to sit in the seat of the mockers. And I really like that third phrase, blessed are those who do not sit in the seat of the mockers. There is quite a tendency in our world to be contrarian and to be smug and to be snarky, and I find those qualities to be among my greater qualities that I contribute to the world. But there's a way to do that is helpful and hopeful and positive and fun, and then there's a way that is done where it is really quite devastating, quite mean, quite rude. I am shocked personally by the number of times that I interact with certain streams of Christianity that are proud to sit in the seat of the mockers. They're proud to mock others, to laugh at, to critique, to speak ill of other people's lives and expressions of faith. And I certainly hope that I'm not one of those people, and don't want this show to be one of those. I don't want this to be one of those places where people are berated for the good that they're trying to do. Rather, would like this show to be one where people are cheered on for the good things that they're doing, where we don't sit in the seat of the mockers, but rather we join in the activity of those who are trying to do right, wherever we find it and with whomever we find it. And so I try to, in the essence of this last segment, that whatever else we've had fun with and talked about in the show, whatever other helpful information you've gotten, whatever other encouragement you found, that at the end we say to one another, join in that which is good. Participate in the world that you want. Not to go all Gandhi on you, but make the world that you desire. Be somebody who lives their life in a way that creates the reality that they want to live in. In other words, do to others as you would do to yourselves. So this story ran across my screen today. A friend had been tweeting it. He tweeted about it. And I followed that link and saw this headline on the BBC website, the British Broadcasting Service. What does BBC stand for? The British Broadcasting Company. The British Broadcasting Company. And they have a story in their magazine section on the man who smuggled himself into Auschwitz. Auschwitz, that most famous of all the concentration camps in the brutality of Nazi Germany. And this man, now 91 years old, whose story has been kept to himself for all of these years, this Dennis Avery, smuggled himself into the World War II concentration camp so that he could document what was going on and tell the stories to others. That he put himself there on purpose. That he is someone who said, people need to know what's going on here, and even if it comes at great risk to me, I'm going to go there to find out what's happening. Now, most people, when they hear a story like this, they would think, well, that's crazy that a man would intentionally put himself into a concentration camp, knowing that he wouldn't live there long, and he didn't. Fortunately, the war ended, but he describes it as hell on earth, and said that he would awaken at night to the ramblings and to the screams of other prisoners, and it was ghastly, and it was terrible, and it was stench-filled. And this man said, that's the kind of place that we need to tell others about, that we need to go to, that we need to tell the story of. And now his story has been documented, and there's a video. If you go to the BBC website and search, or you can go to DougPagittRadio.com after the show and follow the link to the man who smuggled himself into Auschwitz. The man who smuggled himself in to join in the place of those who were being tortured. The man who put himself alongside the victims. The one who said, I will join in so that the story will always be told. The one who said that those who are being wounded, who are being tortured, who are being murdered, won't go it alone. That you live in a world in which you have choices to make. To be the one who sits in the seat of the mockers, the one who speaks ill of others, the one who laughs at the pain and the misery that someone else is feeling. And then there's the option to be as this Dennis Avery, to say, no, I will join in with those who suffer. I will join in with those who struggle. I will not mock, I will not laugh. Instead, I will tell the story. I will try to bring to an end, if not of this tragedy, if not of this misery, if not of this pain, then of the next one. And this kind of struggle and pain doesn't come without cost. He now refers to his thoughts about being able to do this and get away with it and be able to get into Auschwitz and out without being affected by himself as foolhardy. He knows there was no way you could do this without being changed, and he suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder himself. He's hardly been able to speak about what he saw and what he did. But he is a man who said, when there is overwhelming and clear pain, agony, and torment, that he doesn't want it to happen again, so he joins in to try to bring an end to it. So blessed is the man who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, or stand in the way of the sinners, or sit in the seat of the mockers, but who joins together, whose delight is in the law of the Lord, and who meditates on it day and night, with his life and with his actions. So to all of you who don't join in the mockery, but join in the healing, to all of you who don't sit with those who scoff, but want to proclaim the story is the way it should be. For those of you who with your life and with your love and with your hope and with your faith create hope, faith, and love. Keep going. Keep it up. Doug Pagitt Radio, religious radio that's not quite right, on AM 950.